Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
So we have officially made it to day number 21 of the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial, but let's first recap day number 20. Now, in day number 20, the defense cross-examined Jane hard, trying to paint her as a willing participant who enjoyed the attention, money, and hotel nights. Now, Jane insisted that she was emotionally hooked and manipulated. She even said that she still loves Diddy. Now, she said she felt obligated to take the drugs, like ecstasy, to fulfill Diddy's fantasies, even though it made her feel uncomfortable. She revealed Diddy paid $40,000 up front for her home and gave her $10,000 a month as part of their so-called love contract. But she also said he used money as leverage, threatening to stop paying rent as a type of control tactic. The defense dug into her messages with Diddy, reading explicit texts, showing voice notes, and highlighted times where Jane expressed love or enjoyment. But Jane pushed back, saying she was trying to make him feel loved, while internally she was suffering and breaking her own boundaries. She said some hotel nights ended early when she asked, but only after she endured unwanted acts. Jane somewhat led to Diddy's bi-curiosity, saying he was ashamed to explore when his lawyer asked her to define what a cuck was. And honestly, the way Diddy seemed so excited to request these men, we were all like,
"Are you homosexual?"
A what?
I'm homosexual.
How you gonna ask me a question like that?
Ain't nobody bending me over.
Now, we also learned more about how the relationship started polyamorous, but turned painful when Diddy went public with Young Miami. Jane said her relationship with him was kept secret and that he treated the other women better. In court, Jane broke down how she learned Diddy was struggling with drug use and urging him to go to rehab. She said she called him her partner, her light, and she wanted to believe that it was true love. The defense is trying very hard to try to discredit Jane. We'll see how this will end because her cross-examination will be completed today, according to the defense. So let's go ahead and jump into day number 21. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So Judge Subramanian begins the day by saying anything before the jury comes in. Does the defense want to respond to the government on the juror issue? So it was the prosecution that wanted to get rid of juror number 6, and the defense was like, no, we're good with that person. Let's go ahead and keep him in. Combs' attorney, Alexandra Shapiro, says this is a thinly veiled attempt to exclude a black juror. Prosecution said, we looked at the record and found a lack of candor, which is the quality of being open and honest in expression or frankness. The judge says, we'll deal with it before the weekend. Are the jurors ready? No. Well, then we'll take 10 minutes. Okay, so while they're taking the 10 minutes waiting for the jurors, Combs is reading something, talking to Agnifilo on one side. Shapiro, one seat away, about the juror the U.S. wants to remove. Still waiting for the jury. The prosecution is stating that this letter regarding juror number 6 is sealed, so it's nothing that we can see. We don't know exactly what's going on, but they want this person out of there. Break time is over. All rise. Ms. Garagos, you may proceed, judge says. Garagos says, I want to admit this exhibit under seal. Can you read that, Jane? Messages from December 2021. Between yourself and Cabral about a hotel night. Yes. You had a pretty intense night? Yes. He says to you, you were talking to me dirty. I love it. Yes, I'm being friendly here. After your long hotel night, you saw him with Gina? Yes.
Damn it, Gina! Now I'm mad.
Now, speaking about Gina, Jane read some March 2022 messages between her and Sean Combs that occurred after a hotel night. Combs had recently made her delete a post of food she had posted that indicated that they were together, and then she saw that Gina made a post wearing a necklace that matched a bracelet Combs had gifted her previously. In the message, Jane told Combs to make Gina delete her post and accused him of giving her anxiety. To see these things deeply hurt me, Jane testified. Jane testified that the longest hotel night she could remember was around New Year's 2022. She estimated it lasted about 3 days and involved 3 men. Jane said after New Year's, she saw on social media that Combs went on vacation with another woman named Gina. Jane read aloud the messages she sent him in January 2022, expressing her frustration about the trip after. She said, "We had such an amazing New Year's week together. You had me feeling so taken advantage of and regretting everything." Jane testified that she considered breaking up with Combs after this. Then Cabral wrote to you that he would be in LA and he'd stay to see you if you wanted. Yes. What did you say? It's my birthday weekend and you don't show me no love? Then you asked him to send a personal video. Yes. That night you saw the Italian entertainer, who we'll call the entertainer. Yes. And Sean had linked up with Young Miami. Yes. You wrote, "If you don't get your ass out of the island, no party, right?" Yes. That was the first time I pulled that card. The hotel card? Yes. Sean wrote you a note that you said meant the world to you. You told KK you wanted to make it cute and romantic. Yes. I even decorated the room with rose petals. The Valentine's Day hotel night, having 2 men there, was that your idea? Jane says it was. After these nights, it was crushing to see things like, Garrigo says, like Gina posting the love bracelet on Instagram, right? Yes. Here you are planning to reach out to Sean and perhaps reach out to the Italian. I was still doing that then. He says, "Can you FaceTime?" Yes, that's what he says. 10 days later, you had another hotel night? Maybe. Here Combs says, "I'm jerking my you-know-what, thinking about how nasty you're going to be to me, right?" Yes. He says, "Call Italian or Paul to see if they're free." But you like Paul, right? Yes. He gave you a choice and you chose? Yes. In the messages, Combs suggested a hotel night with either Paul or another entertainer. When Jane told him that she was kind of icked out by a boo-boo the other entertainer had, Combs agreed that that person was a no-no and arranged a hotel night with Paul, according to the message. Jane testified that Combs only gave her a choice between 2 entertainers, as though it wasn't an option to skip a hotel night altogether. He responds, "I told Paul 11 p.m. Is that okay? And let's watch PORN first, right?" Yes. He says London Hotel. What would you get? Stripper shoes, shorts, maybe whips. Why shorts? I bought matching shorts for Sean and the entertainers. I was really turned off by their shorts, so I got other shorts for them. It was not so fun to wait for them to get erect. I started to get things on the side so they could get erect. I got pills at the store, rhino pills. What the hell? What the hell? Garrigo says the next day he says want to do dinner at 9. Bring the freak bag just in case. Right, lingerie and the rest. But you didn't have a freak night. Let me refresh your recollection. And this exhibit is under seal. He says, "I'm about to work out with Paul and then I'll see you." You say hair up. There was probably a FaceTime between these 2, but yes. He says, "Did you want to hit up Italian, right?" Yes, I didn't want to. Garrigos continues, "Sean says Paul is all we need." And you say, laugh out loud. What do you say? "I'll go to the store unless you get a head start." What do you mean? Go to the hotel ahead of me. But then you spent several days at his home? Maybe. You really did love him, right? Yes. Do you remember seeing Sean in September 2022 and not having a hotel night? September 9th? I'm not sure. Now do you see you saw him but no hotel night? This is not correct. September 4th, we took a jet to Vegas. He performed. Then we had a hotel night with an entertainer. Do you remember seeing him on September 20th and not having a hotel night? I'm not sure. Let me show you this. Does it refresh your recollection? I guess I did. Did Sean pay for your birthday dinner? Yes. What was the name of the restaurant? I can't remember the name. You have a great time? I had an okay time. You right. Is Nobu the only place? How about something outside of the hotel? He conveniently put me in a hotel with Nobu. I suggested Poppy Steaks. That's a nice restaurant in Miami. So I've heard. Okay, and Valentine's Day the year before, he was in a different country. You wrote, "Get your ass back from the island," right? Yes. Then at the Nobu Hotel, you accepted it? I would say I went along with it. You said accepted. My stuttering was trying to find the right word for the pressure I felt. You mean agitation? Yes. You said he gave you your birthday gift. A necklace? Yes. Did you take this photo? Yes. Under seal, says Garrigos. Now, before we get into that, in February 2023, Jane texted Sean P. Diddy Combs asking if he could send her something for her birthday festivities. She testified that she asked for $15,000 to cover buying an outfit and dinner for her and her friends. She confirmed that Combs paid for the dinner. Jane later traveled to Miami to celebrate her birthday with Combs. She texted him asking if Nobu, a sushi restaurant inside the hotel where she was staying, was the only dinner option, and she suggested that they try something different. She testified that she was trying to get out of the hotel. I'm asking if he could please romance me outside of the hotel room, she testified. The jury is looking at photographs of the couple eating at Nobu. Now, speaking about the necklace she received, Garrigo says it was a Van Cleef necklace. Yes. What is Van Cleef? A jewelry brand that is high-end. In that photo, I had already taken DRUGS. Any type of affection made me smile. Jane testified that she went along with it when Combs said he had entertainment planned for her 2023 birthday dinner. My circumstances were my options in this relationship, Jane testified. If I see him, there's a request for a hotel night, so I'm just adapting to my circumstances. I'm adapting to my environment. So yes, there was a moment I suggested to organize things under the pressure of my lover. Yes, any type of affection at this point in my life that I received from Sean, I received it with open arms, Jane testified. She said she was happy to be wrapped up in her lover's arms at the moment. You took a mirror selfie? Unfortunately, yes. Sean gave the entertainer a rubber, right? Yes. Are these your texts between you and Cabral? I was high. It was 2:40 in the morning. UCT time, right? Yes. So it was night Eastern Coast time. Yes. You invite Cabral for the next day, but the ecstasy would have worn off by then, right? In these nights, I repeatedly took ecstasy. You say you will book his flight for the next day, right? Yes. What did you write here? I wrote, I appreciate everything you did for my birthday. I want to give you everything you want on Valentine's Day. What did you mean? The necklace and your lovemaking only with regard to him. Then you send him photos of you guys in the hotel room? Yes. You didn't tell him you didn't like it until you saw him with Carisha and Turks, right? Yes, it was very hurtful after enduring what I endured. You reached out to Cabral? Under the pressure of my lover, yes. You asked him and he gave the man a rubber? At the very last minute, thank God. You wrote to him, I loved and appreciate every detail you put into my birthday, right? Yes. You wrote that to Sean. You stopped talking to him? I was heartbroken. I flew to Paris for Fashion Week. You enjoyed it? Yes. Now, the jury saw messages that Jane sent to Sean Combs after her birthday celebration. During the celebration, Jane said that she had sex with 3 entertainers and Combs. In the messages, Jane said that she loved and appreciated every detail you put in my birthday. Jane testified that she was referring to the gifts and time alone with Combs. The jury revisited other text messages previously introduced by prosecution, exchanged after Jane learned Combs lied to her and took another woman on a birthday vacation to Turks and Caicos immediately after Combs was with Jane for her own birthday in early February 2023. Jane testified she was hurt after being made to have sex with 3 guys, and it was equally hurtful and emotional for me to see him with another woman on a beautiful vacation, whereas I'm all alone and recovering from having to sleep with 3 men that I didn't want to sleep with. Jane confirmed that after the fallout over how Combs handled his 2 girlfriends' birthdays, they broke up for several weeks. Jane said that when she pushed back on Combs, he'd say we should break up, but would be blowing her phone up a week later. Okay, and this is a text message chain between you and Sean, March of 2023. On the 2D, he wrote, sorry I called you a bitch. I deserve this. Love, right? Yes. He then writes, when can you come to Turks, right? Yes. You sent him a heart emoji and wrote, what we have is special, right? Yes. The budget for your trip was $100,000. Yes. And he spent $55,000? I don't know. You felt he didn't like you up and leaving and going to Paris, right? No, he didn't. You went to the Mandarin Oriental and watched PORNO videos with Sean, right? Yes. Sean asked you about bringing Dawn. Given the situation, I said yes. You said if you'd known that Paul would be there, you wouldn't have gone to Turks. I would not have. Did you write to Cabral from there and invite him to come there? Yes, under the encouragement of my partner. Yes, I did. You were happy Sean gave you diamonds? I thought it was sweet. You were glad to get diamonds? I just wanted Sean. You wrote, I wanted diamonds. Objection. As to form. Rephrase. Do you remember telling Paul that you let Sean go too far and it was your fault? Yes. Your Honor, says Garagos, I think this would be a good place to take a break. All rise. Okay, so while they're on break, let's go over what's currently going on in the courtroom. Now, on the stand, Jane is stroking her hair as she explains what is not in messages, that she was referring only to her time with Sean P. Diddy Combs and not the other men. A few times, defense attorney Tenny Garagos countered by suggesting Jane didn't differentiate that in the messages with Combs, asking her once if there was an undertone. Jane has persisted that she was only referring to Combs. Now let's get into who's there for Combs today. Combs' mother, sister, and his 3 sons are in the courtroom. He asked his mother if she ate anything. She said she did. Combs greeted a few people in the courtroom when he returned from a bathroom break. Now the jury are all following along and they are not taking any notes as of yet today. Now let's speak more about Mr. Combs. Now today in court, Sean was seen holding a small orange book that sparked curiosity. Turns out it was The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol. This was first published in 1948 to help World War II veterans cope with trauma. The book explores how to unlock the power of the subconscious mind, and sources say Combs has been deep diving into self-help books since his arrest last September on the sex trafficking and other federal charges that could land him in prison for the rest of his life. Okay, now the break is over, so let's continue with the trial. Judge says, are we all ready except for the absence of Miss Comey? Yes, Your Honor. We've reached you, said prosecution. Comey enters. Judge says, okay, bring Jane back in. Now we're waiting for Jane. Jane enters. Miss Garagos, the judge says, you may proceed. Garagos says, you wrote, all I have in my mind right now is your passionate lovemaking, right? Yes. You saw him 2 weeks later and did not have a hotel night? Maybe. Let's play this voice note. I believe this is no objection. Comey says, I don't have it on my list, but if Miss Garagos represents I have it, no objection, I won't. Give me a minute. I'll move on. Did you ask about hotels or Airbnbs? Yes. And Sean asked, how do you know there aren't cameras in Airbnbs, right? Yes, I wrote, they could be covered by security. We'll just say it's our anniversary and we want to cover them to feel comfortable. Okay, and here, what did you write to Sean? The fact that you are the reason for my child's joy is a feeling inside me I just can't explain. Oh. Jane begins to cry. Garagos says, take all the time you need. I love you so much as my friend, my lover, my boyfriend, even though you don't like that word. Defense attorney Garagos finished reading the text while Jane took a few seconds to compose herself. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, and this, where are you? Hotel night. Now, Jane confirmed that she helped take care of Sean P. Diddy Combs in June 2023 after he had surgery, and they did not have any hotel nights that month. She testified that they had a hotel night in early July 2023, and defense attorney Garagos read aloud the message that Jane sent Combs the day after, which she said how much she loved him and spending time with him. Garagos continues, and this 3152, is it a message after the hotel night saying, I love living in the moment with you? It was our little party, rosé, whatever we were saying. Is that a moon emoji? Jane appeared to get emotional as she dabbed her eyes with a tissue. Garagos then asked the judge if the lawyers could approach the bench. Now they go on break. Okay, now the sidebar is over. Garagos says, Jane, jumping around, DX3171, is this message a chain between you and Mr. Combs, August 9th, 2023? Yes. Mr. Combs writes, movie night off the charts. You say you agree, right? Yes. Then the All-Star night, canceled by the Hurricanes, right? Yes. Then you heard Mr. Combs on a podcast in Croatia where he said he had sex on a yacht trip. You said he lied to you? Yes, it hurt my feelings. So defense attorney Garagos revisits a time when Jane said she flew to New York in August 2023 to see Sean Combs, which Jane testified about on direct examination. The jury saw some text between Combs and Jane where she expressed her anger over Combs' recent podcast interview. In the interview, Combs talked about having 48 hours of sex with another woman. Jane threatened not to go to New York, but after some convincing from Combs, she went under the impression they wouldn't be having another hotel night. When she was mid-air flying to New York, Combs sent her a link to an entertainer he wanted to hire once she got there. Jane sent a thumbs up to a link for the online profile for the entertainer. Jane testified that she was confirming she saw the link and said the thumbs up can also be a little bit sarcastic. Now, Jane claims that these hotel nights put Combs at peace. In October 2023, Jane and Combs were arguing over Combs spending time with one of his other girlfriends, who happens to be Gina, who Jane said brought plenty of drama into their relationship. Jane testified that Combs and Gina had a lot of public problems, causing Combs to bring negativity into his relationship with Jane. At one point, when Jane was expressing frustration over his relationship with Gina, Combs texted her, "Girl, stop. You know I don't feed into this. I need you. You're the only thing that's going to put me at peace, please." According to messages revealed in court, defense attorney Geragos asked Jane, "You thought the hotel nights put him at peace?" Yes. Jane also agreed when Geragos asked if part of the reason why Jane agreed to the hotel nights was because she thought the encounters brought Combs peace. Okay, and you proposed Zero Bond or Casa Cipriani. Are these two private clubs in New York? Yes. But you ended up going to a lounge, right? Yes. And after you rejected the new entertainer for lack of chemistry, you called Cabral? Yes. Child, my box is tired thinking about all these hotel nights. I know hers is worn out. You said that you were high that night and you felt freer and you let Cabral do things you usually didn't? Yes. And then you wrote to Mr. Combs, "I love you so much." I did. You spoke about the sobriety party. You resented him for it, right? Yes. Now, she spoke about the sobriety party earlier in her testimony. Jane described the party saying it was one or two times where she tried not to use drugs during a hotel night with Sean Combs. Geragos asked if Jane agreed to the night. Unfortunately, yes. Geragos pointed out that Jane said unfortunately, but she agreed to the night. Yes? Yes. You regret now that you agreed to it. Is that fair? Yes, I resent him for knowing how much I loved him and how I couldn't say no to him. Geragos asked her a few more times about regret, with Jane responding each time that she resented Combs. And you regret it, right? I believe resent and regret lie in the same feelings. Jane confirmed that she felt depressed after the sobriety party with Sean Combs and tried to break up with him. She confirmed that Combs told her he too was feeling depressed. She testified that she went to his home and spent the night. The jury saw a video of the two of them from that night, and that video included both of them laughing. "I was in a dark hole and you came here to save me, and I appreciate that," Combs said at one point in the video. "You did some saving on me that I didn't even know," Jane said. Jane had previously testified the following about the October 2023 sobriety party at a hotel in Beverly Hills, California. Now, she said she wanted Combs to get sober around this time, and he agreed to stop taking substances for 30 days, but wanted to have one last sobriety party first. This party was a hotel night that lasted 12 to 18 hours. She testified about it last week. She didn't take any drugs, but Combs took ecstasy and cocaine, she testified. You had wanted to break up with him after you saw him with Gina? Yes, there's so many times I wanted to break up with him. You were in an Equinox parking lot and you tried to break up with him, right? Yes. Let me play you audio recording. Combs' voice is playing. "We were both tripping." Jane's voice. "We need to pick each other up." "No entertainers that night?" Right. "But it was after the video and Cassie's lawsuit was made public." Yes. "Before that, would Mr. Combs write Cassie love letters while with you?" "I'm not sure." Sean Combs told his ex-girlfriend Jane that Cassie Ventura was one of his greatest loves. Attorney Teeny Geragos mentioned that Combs would write Ventura love letters during Jane's time with him, but Jane said she wasn't sure about that. The court is adjourned for the day and the jury is dismissed. After Jane and the jury left the courtroom, defense attorney Geragos said she'll complete her cross-examination of Jane on Thursday morning. Now, prosecutor Comey said 2 witnesses more are expected to testify after Jane, and their testimony should take up most of Thursday. A summary witness will also testify. Comey said the prosecution needs to regroup and sort out travel logistics for witnesses beyond those 3. Comey also said the government is expected to cut more witnesses from its list and is now on track to rest its case as early as next Wednesday or by Friday at the latest. That was a lot, but what I need to do right now is hear from you. What do you think about everything currently going on in the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial? What do you think about the cross-examination of Jane? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching, but before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.